WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say. I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary.
The bell sounds and we're off. Hey, hosers and haters. Welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon here with you, fresh off of a week north of the border in Canada. As you can tell, I haven't quite gotten rid of my localism yet. Well, who the hell am I kidding? A Philadelphian trying to sound Canadian.
Oh,
I don't know what that's all about, eh?
Oh, sweetie, that just doesn't sound good, eh?
Don't call me sweetie.
I didn't mean it like that, okay? Just relax. I sort of got mixed up with Wisconsin and Canadian.
Lucas the Intern, off to a rousing start, and we're only, about 30 seconds into the program?
How you doing, fans?
Oh, man. Well, going up to Canada did one very positive thing. It, as CM Punk said a couple of weeks ago, ruined a perfectly good bad mood. Had I had a show last week, I would have been on and completely ripped Battleground to shreds. But after a week to kind of reflect, I'm a lot calmer about it. Hopefully you are too.
I am. Besides the fact that this whole vacated WWE Championship thing has gone too far, they need to just make a champion. They need to give somebody the title. If they don't give somebody the WWE title soon, then I'm going to be very mad.
That's good to know. I don't know. What did you want me to say to that?
I don't know.
He's going to be mad.
Thank you, Nick Cataldi.
Running the boards.
Running the boards, pushing the buttons, turning the dials, keeping us on the air here. And we'll get back to, I don't know. Do we want to go over how we did in our picks for Battleground? Actually, Lucas, you'll be glad to know this. You matched the number of correct picks that you've had so far since you've signed on here a couple of months ago, just in Battleground alone.
What do you mean I matched them? Like I did good?
There you go, talking to the microphone. In other words, between the two previous pay-per-views, you had 5 correct picks out of, I think, 14 or something like that.
Is that supposed to be bad or good?
Well, that's not so good. That's 5 out of 14 is less than half of them right.
It's good in baseball.
It is good in baseball.
You really are taking...
But on this particular...
horrible free throw shooting.
Yeah. And this particular event, you actually got 5 out of the 8, so you got more than half of them right. Not too shabby.
You really are liking this heel turn, aren't you, Fearon?
I'm just being me.
Funny.
I've been shielded for a little while, but I should note that I did slightly better than you, the expert that I am. Six out of the 8 correct.
You must be so proud.
You know it. That's why I'm the host of the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
All right, Cole, you can stop now.
Almost 15 years on the air here on 1490 WBCB, and damn proud of it. Good times here. As, of course, you know, the no contest, Big Show knocking out pretty much everybody from Battleground. We didn't have much of a chance to talk about it. But they're finally going in a different direction. Let's look ahead to Hell in a Cell. Of course, now you've got the still vacant title, a Hell in a Cell match, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan. And courtesy of the fans voting, you've got special guest referee Shawn Michaels, who has a history with both individuals.
HBK. Yeah, it happened. Shawn Michaels, I like him a lot. He's very, very charismatic. He's the one that's kept his humor out of the whole, turn. I thought Shawn Michaels was going to come to the ring and be like, oh, Triple H this, Randy Orton that. I don't care about Daniel Bryan, that whole thing. But he actually kept the charisma.
Well, you know that Shawn Michaels does have a history with Daniel Bryan,
too, right? Yeah, I know. He trained Daniel Bryan. He
did, back in the Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy when he was out during that 4-year period helping with recovering from his back injury.
I had he's trained a lot of people in WWE. I think, didn't he train Chris Jericho? Did he train?
Well, Chris Jericho, I mean, they've obviously wrestled a lot of high-profile matches going back a few years, but Jericho initially trained in the Hart family dungeon up in Calgary, dramatic pause, Alberta, Canada.
So he's trained Lance Cade, Daniel Bryan. He's obviously has some sort of training history with Chris Jericho because of that whole rivalry that happened in 2009. But
well, Jericho's only a couple of years younger than Michaels.
Yeah. But
and by a couple, I think I mean like 5. Yeah. But
if you guys, if you guys watched Raw today, though, I mean not today. Sorry. If you guys watched Raw on Monday, I managed to catch it on my DVR. It was pretty fun. It started with Shawn Michaels coming to the ring. Thanked fans for voting for him. That whole thing, and told that there would be a new WWE champion at Hell in a Cell. And then Randy Orton comes out, talking to him about the whole, if you don't make me the champion, then I'm going to ruin your career. So then, Michael comes in. Michaels retorts. This whole back and forth argument, it was really fun. If you can catch it on YouTube, it was a great, nice little promo to start the show. Then Michaels turns around to address the fans, and Orton comes up behind him, turns around for an RKO. Not the smartest move, considering Michaels ducks out and tries to go for a sweet chin music before Orton rolls out of the ring. It was a very heated argument. But then from behind, The Miz comes in, just starts beating the crap out of him.
And that ends up setting up a match for after the commercial break on Raw, which Orton ended up winning thanks to, of all things, a distraction by the Wyatt family. I don't know if they're now going to get The Miz to following Kane's footsteps and follow the Buzzards.
So what does that mean, though? I don't are they just ending their careers or something?
Well, that's part of the intrigue of the Wyatt family that hasn't quite been developed yet. So, what exactly does follow the Buzzards mean? So
is Kane done? That's what I want to know. Is Kane out of the WWE?
Well, at least for now, it looks like he's in political circles, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, so,
which I was thinking about talking about, but, didn't really want to know that bad, as Roddy Piper said. But the big matchup, which we've got a little clip of coming up in a sec here, the end of Raw, which is something that you were rather excited about. Cody Rhodes and Goldust, after their win at Battleground in a non-title match against The Shield to get their jobs back, they're facing The Shield again, only this time the tag team titles are on the line, and we've got the end of the match, or at least the closing moments of it, coming up right here.
Roman Reigns spearing Goldust right through the timekeeper's area.
This is unbelievable.
How smart was Ambrose? Ambrose realized that with Goldust down, he went across the other side of the ring, put Cody into the ring, and now he's trying to drag Roman Reigns back in to win this matchup.
This is going to be... What is this?
What the... Oh, my God!
What in the world is he doing?
Big Show! Somebody call the police! Call the police! Big Show right here in front of us! Big Show's got right on Ambrose! He just knocked out Ambrose! Big Show rumbling into Seth Rollins! Big Show tails Seth Rollins! Big Show!
He's a one-man wrecking crew!
That was like an security! Cody Rhodes was a knockout by Big Show! Come on, Cody! Come on, Cody! Capitalize! He's gonna do it! He did it! New tag team champions! New champions! Somebody arrest that man!
WWE Tag Team Champions, the team of Goldust and Cody Rhodes.
Big Show came rumbling through the arena and knocked out everybody! How the hell is a 7-foot giant
Wait.
Triple H's limit? Do you blame him? Big Show repaying the debt to the Rhodes for knocking out their daddy. And boy, did he repay in a huge way tonight. Arrest that giant criminal.
Yeah, you go do it. You go try to put some cuffs on him.
I'm a commentator, not the police.
Look at the game. Triple H is livid.
Oh, there's going to be hell to pay as the Big Show spoils Triple H's plans again.
New tag team champions indeed. Cody Rhodes and Goldust, the Rhodes brothers, your new WWE tag team champions. We'll probably see a rematch coming up at Hell in a Cell, though it has not been announced as of yet. Although there was a match development regarding CM Punk and what initially was his match with Ryback, but thanks to some developments on Raw this past Monday, there's a new wrinkle thrown in. Paul Heyman lobbying to general manager Brad Maddox. He wants some sort of stipulation for the match to kind of help put things in his favor. Of course, Heyman thinking that a 2-on-1 handicap match of Ryback and Curtis Axel against CM Punk would be best for business.
I love what Brad Maddox said, though. He said it's funny to see, I think he said, what did he call Paul Heyman? A weasel complain about cheating?
Well, I think he was going with the walrus comparison. Yeah,
it was something with a W. I apologize.
So you're used to Bobby the Brain Heenan, who was known for years as Weasel.
I feel like he's like I feel like he's trying to be the new Bobby the Brain Heenan. You feel like you'd see that coming?
Well, I mean, Paul Heyman does have a lot of experience being that heel manager. I mean, you got to go. You go back to the Paulie Dangerously days with that giant cell phone, and I mean, you're going back at least 20 years. Please
just don't let him sport a toga at WWE. Just don't let him sport a toga at any WrestleMania. Don't make the mistake that Heenan made at WrestleMania 9.
I think most people in WWE circles recognize the mistake that was Caesar's Palace from a little over 20 years ago now. And that's why they haven't repeated it, even with other outdoor venues, whether it be Orlando or most recently New York. Although toga in New York in April, definitely not a good idea.
Yeah, definitely.
Or anything of that nature, really. Anyway, getting back to the point here. So Brad Maddox books Ryback against R-Truth and CM Punk against Curtis Axel in a beat-the-clock challenge on Monday. If Ryback wins, then Paul Heyman can pick the stipulation for Hell in a Cell. If Punk wins, then Punk would choose the stipulation. And a mere 11 seconds difference between Ryback beating R-Truth and CM Punk beating Curtis Axel. Punk getting it done in a quicker time. So Punk makes it a handicap Hell in a Cell match. Ryback and Paul Heyman against CM Punk. And that is one of your 3 matches so far set for Hell in a Cell. The other 2 being Alberto Del Rio defending the World Heavyweight Championship against John Cena. Yes, Cena's back well ahead of the presumed schedule, only 2 months after having surgery to repair the torn triceps and get the fluid out of the elbow.
I feel like they're gonna foreshadow something that he's gonna be like, oh, he's gonna get injured again or something. I just don't feel like this is a. I feel like I'm glad to see Cena back in the ring, but I don't think it's a good move. I just have, to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, I have a bad feeling about this.
A Star Wars reference.
I'm a nerd. That's right, AJ Lee. I'm a nerd.
That's a drop for later.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. I got to agree with him.
Yeah, you bring them naturally.
You walked into that one.
You did.
Is that was that a good drop or was that like something to make fun of me?
Both.
Can it be both?
Yeah, it can. Yeah.
Both.
Okay, I'll go with that.
I like the part about making fun of you. That's what I like.
You would.
Well, we'll talk a little bit in the news and notes. Actually, John Cena responded to questions from WWE.com regarding his earlier-than-expected return. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, some Extreme Rising news coming up in our news and notes. The Rock committing to a movie coming up and how that will affect WrestleMania or how it may affect WrestleMania. And we'll also talk about a Dixie Carter T-shirt. Don't worry, I have no audio of her. I've already promised you fans that we will have no Dixie Carter audio.
They destroyed her on TNA Shop. We cannot legally say any of them except for 2. Any of the comments I gave you.
Yeah, I'll get into that in a little bit as well.
They legally destroyed her.
But we'll go ahead and take care of some business. We've got Ed the Showstopper. We'll get to him right on the other side as we take you to 1 o'clock. We'll take care of some business, come back, and bring you more stuff, including a little Bound for Glory preview. That's right, the biggest TNA pay-per-view of the year, and we're just kind of glossing over it. Well, no, we'll get into a little bit more detail about that on the other side. Plenty to do here. Lucas the Intern, Nick Cataldi, Fearon Derry here with you. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. No matter what I do, I seem to make enemies everywhere.
You're going to get me in trouble, and I didn't even do anything.
That's not true!
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here alongside Lucas the Troublemaking Intern.
2 drops. That's a record. I like that. I'm not even mad anymore. I'm a celebrity now. Be like negative D-list celebrity.
Wow, you're slightly behind Kathy Griffin.
I didn't do that. I don't know.
Yeah, don't try a Kathy Griffin impression either. Sweet mercy. All right, let's get to the phones and get out of this here. Let's get to Ed, the showstopper. Ed from Northeast Philly. What's going on, Ed?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we got you.
You probably know about Extreme Rising and the Asylum Arena.
The Asylum Arena. Actually, yeah, I was going to talk about everything going on with Extreme Rising a little bit later. I know that there's a bunch of stuff going on with it.
And we have UWF in Fearless Hills coming up.
Yeah, Moose Moretti is at it again. He's got, and I know we'll be talking to my buddy Nubius Black in a little bit.
Is that an invasion?
I'm sorry?
Is that an invasion angle?
What's this?
It's not an invasion angle. Because I've seen a poster, and it says ECPW UWF.
Well, they've always kind of been tied together. I mean, I've done some stuff with them in the past, some ring announcing, things like that.
Oh, I thought it was like an invasion type angle.
No. They're paired together. You see that a lot. I mean, you saw that with DWF and Loco Wrestling when they were around. They're still putting themselves together.
They're teaming with Beast Wrestling in Berlin, New Jersey on November 2nd, too.
Huh. Good stuff.
And Palmyra, New Jersey, Crossworlds Wrestling has a fundraiser on the 26th.
Oh, that would be next Saturday. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on next Saturday.
And did you hear about Cousin Luke?
I did. I did hear about Cousin Luke passing away, yes. One of the
good ones are passing away early.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few of them. That was around the time that Hillbilly Jim was injured, but they wanted to keep things going back in the mid '80s. So they had a few different. There was Cousin Luke. There was Uncle Elmer. There were a few different relatives of Hillbilly Jim.
And I can't believe 2 years since my friend passed away, late Frank Talent.
Yeah, where does the time go? It boggles my mind. I've been doing this gig for almost 5 years now.
Yeah.
I'm halfway to my predecessor.
Next week, and more shows.
All right, yeah, there should be plenty going on, and there's a lot to do next week as well. Thanks so much for the call, Ed. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, next week, in fact, let me let you know about this. We're going to have an in-studio guest here, local wrestler. He's been on the program before, Corey Castle. He'll be in studio to discuss his new documentary project, Wrestling with Disaster. Now, here's a little info about it, courtesy of the movie's Kickstarter page. Wrestling with Disaster is a documentary that will explore the inner workings of the world of professional wrestling, giving the prospective audience a unique understanding of the incredible physical and mental demands that wrestlers must meet before, during, and after entertaining their fans. Now, currently attached to the movie for interviewers are stars such as the Warlord, from the Powers of Pain, Kevin Sullivan, Fred Ottman, you might remember him as Tugboat, D'Lo Brown, Pitbull Gary Wolf, Lanny the Genius Poffo, the Blue Meanie, and, of course, Corey Castles along with it, as well as family members of many deceased wrestlers. And Corey, as you may remember from this show, well, he overcame life-threatening brain surgery and returned to wrestling despite doctors telling him that he'd never wrestle again. So, I mean, really, nothing but props and respect for Corey. Got to have that Neshaminy pride going on. We'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to trash talk.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're good there. The film's creators are trying to raise funds to complete the project. So far, as of this morning, they raised just over $1,400 of the $12,637 goal. And we'll get more into that with Corey when he's here next week. But Corey Castle, we've had him on the show before. Super cool guy, and he's going to be talking about his documentary project, Wrestling with Disaster. Certainly should be a lot of fun. I know. I feel like we now have this somber, serious moment. I have no idea how the heck to get out of it.
You want to just shut the show down and just say, forget it, we're going to go home?
Be like Breaking Bad. Bleep this. I'm cooking that. No.
Well, I don't know. Place
Remember
I worked at.
my name. Lucas
Something
the
like
Intern.
Lucas the
We
Intern.
could just say we quit.
No.
No.
Oh, I'm just trying to help.
No. I think, you know what we'll do? This should be a way to lighten things up. Let's go ahead and get back to the phones. I believe we've got Walt, who's been hanging on. If you want to flip up the Gentner first.
I think number 1 or number 2?
Number 2.
There we go.
Let's see. We got Walt up here.
No, he's alive. He's right here.
That was my mistake.
How you guys doing?
I goofed.
Oh, you goofed?
I'm sorry.
There's another drop. Walt, what's going on?
Well, it's another Saturday, and I thought I'd check in. Good stuff from Ed, because I didn't know Frank Talent, his history with his passing. I did not know that, so that was good. Want to give Mr. Lucas a question here, since he knows things. He knows soccer, but this isn't a soccer question.
What?
Here's a wrestling question. Ready, Lucas?
Sure.
Here comes the random Walt trivia. Here we go.
In 1995, we have Razor Ramon, or Jeff Jarrett. Razor Ramon picking up the Intercontinental title from Jeff Jarrett, and that was in a ladder match. And followed 3 nights later, Jeff Jarrett came back to defeat Razor Ramon to pick up the WWE Intercontinental title. That was in 1995. Now, Lucas, for your big answer, what country did this take place all in?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Pego.
What?
Pego.
No, that's not right either.
I'm going to say Britain, UK.
That's wrong. Mr. Lucas, who knows things? It's in Canada. It happened all in Canada.
That's close.
And Fearon knew that answer, but I'm glad he held it up from you.
You mind?
That was pretty close.
You
Lucas.
mind
Don't let
giving
him-
me
don't let him-
questions
yeah.
that have to do more Attitude Era, early 2000s? Because
At least when he was, alive. I'm just. This is something I've been trying to figure out for the last couple of weeks here, Walter.
Okay.
Do you get some sort of semblance of pride from throwing an impossible question out there? Impossible for somebody of his age to answer. Is that? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out your, as Gorilla Monsoon would say, modus operandi with this here.
Well, here's the key. He needs to come up with the Wrestling Almanac and Book of Facts.
That's not a half bad idea when you think about it, to learn things.
That's right, from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Yeah. You see, Lucas is good with soccer, but he has to upgrade himself with
I'm good with
wrestling.
playing soccer. I don't even know half the
Yes.
I played soccer too, Lucas.
Yeah.
He needs to play indoor soccer. We'll see how good he is then.
Well, this is getting completely off track.
Yes.
I'm completely flabbergasted by this. I'm trying to figure out. I know I asked this a couple of weeks ago. What's the point of this? That's
we're testing Lucas on the air to see how good he can be, and he's getting better. Yes, he is.
Okay,
He's
then
getting
why don't I give you a question, Walt? Okay?
Go ahead.
Why don't I give you a question? All right, I think it was in about 2008, John Cena and Batista faced off in a match where John Cena went for a leg drop off the top rope, and Batista gave him the Batista bomb right in midair. What did he tear? What injury did he get?
Neck injury. He took a neck injury.
Are you looking to me on this one, or
Am I right, or am I close, or am I not?
No, you're right.
Thank you. Wow. I want to jump up to real quick with Dixie Carter and my impressions of a couple weeks ago. She tries to come off and pull herself together like Stephanie McMahon, but she's way behind the 8 ball. And I still think she's got to get herself into gear a lot deeper, a lot farther if she's going to make it. What's your impression?
Impression. Interesting. Well, I think at this point, you're trying to bail out the Titanic at this point. I think the T in TNA stands for tag the toe, really. I don't know what else. I mean, you're heading into your biggest pay-per-view of the year, and the focus has been shifting more and more on the owner of the company. I mean, they even have a T-shirt for her, for crying out loud.
Wow, they've gone that far already. Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that coming up in a little bit.
Sounds cool. Hey, you guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon again.
All right, in the infamous words of Rocket J. Squirrel. Okay then, thank you, Mr. Know-It-All. Know-It-All Walt.
You sound rather spiteful there and mean-spirited. And
Why, thank you. I appreciate that. It's what I do best.
Nah.
Well, second best, behind running a wrestling show.
I don't think there's anything wrong with knowing the facts of yesteryear. I mean, I heard of Jackie Robinson. I mean, I never...
Well, on the same token, yeah. I mean, there's facts of yesteryear, but I mean this is like the level of, all right, in game number 87 of Jackie Robinson's second season, how many hits did he get? Like,
3.
That's the kind of...
Boy, you stupid. I don't know how many hits he had.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to throw that out there real fast.
Yeah, of course.
I would die if it was 3. But
I was going to say, I'm not about to look it up.
People often say that, and I'll stay kind of on level here. People say, well, that was before my time. Well, so was George Washington. We all heard about him. We didn't just go...
This is true.
We didn't just go,
yeah, but it's not like I know things, but at the same time, I don't know...
Yeah, there's a level of obscurity that Walt likes to go to, and I think it's to make himself feel good.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. It's... I don't know. It's cumbersome. It's bothersome.
With Lucas knowing more things here.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, level of things here.
Okay, all right. No,
it's one thing to know about
the rules.
It's one thing to know about the Montreal screw job. It's another to know about a house show that happened 5 days afterward.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah, there's levels of
things. I'm playing devil's advocate, actually. Just so you know, I hear what you're saying. I really do.
I get it. It's
okay, all in fun.
It's just it's a little on the I don't know. For me, it's a little on the disgusting side, but that's just. I don't know. Nowadays I get disgusted easily.
I like disgusting things.
Walt, you ruined a perfectly good mood. Good job. Congrats. Now I'm back to being a surly yeah. See what you've done? Be proud. Jerk.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not. No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
I'm not sorry at all. Figure of speech.
All right, let's let's talk TNA. Let's dump out of this as quickly as we can before I say something that's going to get me into more trouble. That'll probably be a drop too. All right, TNA. This past. All right, Nick's going to let me settle down a little bit here. Bound for Glory coming up tomorrow, the biggest pay-per-view of the year for TNA, and we're all just kind of shrugging our shoulders. Let me look. Let's get into predictions starting to go wrong for it. There we go. That'll get me to calm down a little bit. All right. The pre-show gauntlet #1 contender match for the tag titles. Bad Influence against Joseph Park and Eric Young. Also Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez in there, as well as the Bromans. Jesse and Robbie E. I don't know. Yeah, and the winner will go on to take on James Storm and Gunner for the tag titles later in the pay-per-view.
Is Gunner? Are they heels or are they faces still? Like I don't understand. What are they?
I believe that they're faces. I don't think that James Storm has had a heel turn since he was paired up with Bobby Roode as Beer Money. But that shows you how long ago that is.
I'm gonna go. I feel just so I can see something goofy. I'm gonna say Joseph Park and Eric Young.
Okay, well,
they
you're
would
definitely going to see something goofy when it comes to those two. Yeah,
I love Eric Young. His show is hilarious.
His show is hilarious. I'm going Bad Influence just because. I mean, if there was a way to flip a 4-sided coin, that's kind of what I'm doing here in this case.
Who's in Bad Influence anyway?
That would be Christopher Daniels and Kazarian.
Oh, wow.
Rethinking your pick a little bit, or
no? I'm just saying. Wow, it's a bad influence on your IQ to watch Impact. So they're pretty accurate to a point, I guess.
A little bit. All right, the Knockouts title, a triple threat match. ODB, Gail Kim, and Brooke Tessmacher. I think ODB retains again. This is just a coin toss, really.
Tessmacher.
Three-way coin. You're going Tessmacher.
Yeah.
Well, she is paired with Bully Ray.
It's the fact that they want to give aces and eights everything when it comes to gold. So I'm just saying.
Well, Aces and Eights is losing members left and right. I don't know. All right, James Storm and Gunner defending against whoever would win in the pre-show match.
Storm and Gunner.
You're thinking Storm and Gunner retain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think this is just kind of for show to attempt to salvage the tag division. Then you've got the Ultimate X match for the X Division title. Manic, Austin Aries, Chris Sabin, Jeff Hardy, and Samoa Joe. Whew. That's more than likely going to be the match of the night, at least I believe.
I like how they try and the X Division title, I wouldn't say it's a minor title, but compared to the Guessing of the World Championship, it's sort of like the Intercontinental title. And I like how TNA tries to keep all of their titles like great matches, how they try and keep every single thing. Like when the Intercontinental title used to mean something, even when it was like Jeff Hardy versus Johnny Nitro, and like all these.
Going back about 7 years, yeah.
They made these. This is what made me love wrestling, because it didn't matter what title it was. You always went into it thinking, "Oh, this is going to be a great match. I can't wait to see." Like the cards would be amazing, even for like minor shows like SmackDown and Raw. Mm-hmm. You'd see like
as opposed to pay-per-views.
I'm gonna go Hardy. Hardy fan through and through.
I figured that was. I'm actually going Hardy as well. I have no idea why.
X Division, the Ultimate X is basically TNA's Money in the Bank. It is.
Yeah. With a giant X over top of the ring, those cables.
But then again, it would be titled. It would be Hardy to be the person that does a swanton bomb off the top of the X just to risk his body for the fans.
This is true.
To not win the title. Yeah.
All right, Magnus against Sting. Magnus trying to prove himself, and I think he's going to beating the well past his prime Sting.
I like Magnus. I'm going to say Magnus.
You're going Magnus also?
He's one of those rising stars. I feel like he's going to win the title soon if TNA is still in business by the time.
All right. Now I'm skipping over a match and coming back to it here. We're going to go the world title next. Bully Ray against AJ Styles. I think all signs point to Styles on this one. I'd be shocked if Bully Ray retained. And Kurt Angle and Bobby Roode. Kurt Angle not only getting inducted into the Hall of Fame for TNA, but also facing Bobby Roode in a grudge match. How can Angle not win this? Well, it's TNA. Anything's possible.
Yeah,
but there was a little bit of a prelim of that, and we've got that clip right here.
It's great to be back, but let's get down to business. Bobby Roode, you're one of the most talented wrestlers I've ever seen. As a matter of fact, you remind me of me 5 years ago. But when you try to rain on my parade, one of the most important days of my life, of my career, the Hall of Fame induction, you just made it personal. Bobby Roode, it's one thing to think you're that good, but when you mess with a man's legacy, in particular, my legacy, you just dug your own grave. So Bobby Roode, you might be one of the best today, but you will never be Kurt Angle. I will never be Kurt Angle. I will never be Kurt Angle. You know what, Kurt? You're right. I'm no Kurt Angle. I'm not you. But you know what? You know what, Kurt? I'm okay with that. Because I don't want to be Kurt Angle. Not here, not now, definitely not today. 2 years ago, maybe. 5 years ago, yeah. 10 years ago, absolutely. I wanted to be just like you. I wanted to be Kurt Angle. You, Kurt, you were the be-all and end-all of professional wrestling. But you're looking at the man right now who is the be-all and end-all of professional wrestling. You want to talk about making a mockery of a Hall of Fame induction? Huh? You were the one that ruined my night last week. That was my Hall of Fame induction. And regardless of which Hall of Fame it was, you know damn well, Kurt Angle, that I am more worthy of a Hall of Fame induction than you are. Tell me right now what you've done lately, Kurt. Huh? Tell me what you've done. Let me tell you what you've done. You've done a whole lot of nothing over the last couple of years. The last thing that comes to mind with me is 2 years ago at Bound for Glory when you, Kurt Angle, 2 years ago beat me to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. But you know what, Kurt? You did me a favor that night. You did me a big favor because you woke me up. Yeah, you made me see the light. And soon after that, the it factor of professional wrestling was born, and I went on to become a world heavyweight champion. And not only a world heavyweight champion, but the longest reigning, most dominant world heavyweight champion in the history of this company, longer than you, Kurt Angle. So this Sunday at Bound for Glory,
I'm not going to be Kurt Angle, no. No, I'm going to be Bobby Roode. Because this Sunday at Bound for Glory, Bobby Roode is going to beat Kurt Angle.
How are you going to beat me when you're going to be the one that's tapping?
You see, Kurt, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong, because I'm not going to tap. Because,
Look at Rude. Well, Rude looked for that opportunity. He took it, and now seizing it.
as I was saying, because I'm going to make you tap out.
Yes, and the feud, well, it continues leading into Bound for Glory tomorrow. Like I said, I think Angle's going to take it. All right, let's take care of our last bit of business here. We'll come back. We'll get Steve from Bristol, who's been hanging on the line, and we'll get to the various news and notes. This Dixie Carter thing, oh, man. Plus also a former Ring of Honor champion announcing retirement. Whole bunch of news and notes still. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, October 19. On this date in 1998, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. In the main event, Bret Hart defeated Sting by disqualification. On this date in 2003, WWE held its No Mercy pay-per-view. In the main event, Brock Lesnar pinned The Undertaker in a biker chain match to retain the WWE Championship. On this date in 2004, WWE held its Taboo Tuesday pay-per-view. In the main event, Randy Orton pinned Ric Flair in a steel cage match. This has been Today in Wrestling History, October 19.
This is Jim the Anvil Neidhart of the Hart Foundation, and you're listening to Pro Wrestling Weekly with Fearon Derry on 1490 WBCB, baby. Yeah!
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Lucas the Intern, Nick Cataldi pushing the buttons, turning the dials.
Hey.
I was wondering when that was going to come back. Speaking of coming back, let's come back to the phones. Let's get Steve, who's been hanging on patiently. Steve from Bristol, what's going on?
How's it going, Brian? Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you here.
When you told me there was a vacant world title opening, does that mean it's time for Triple H to bring back somebody?
Well, it looks like it's going to go to whoever wins between Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan. I don't think they're going to just automatically interject somebody into the WWE Championship run, kind of like they brought John Cena back from injury.
Well, you know the name that came up to my mind as soon as you said that was Batista. Somehow he would interfere, just as Orton's about ready to get the 1, 2, 3, comes out of nowhere and power bombs him, and all of a sudden everything's out in the open.
Well, like a reunion of Evolution. Is that kind of where you're going with this?
Yeah, because if you notice, Triple H doesn't want to wrestle anymore, but he wants all his friends to wrestle for him.
I don't know. If they were going to do that, then they'd need to bring Flair back, and he's been in hot water ever since that panel discussion that got him and JR pretty much on the outs and forced his retirement, or at least that's the hearsay and scuttlebutt as far as that goes. So
well, that was my question. I haven't been able to get a hold of you due to different work schedules. Why did they bring the Rhodes family in while the number one family in wrestling is being ignored?
Which family would that be? The Wyatt family?
No, that'd be the Bret Hart family.
The Hart
the Hart Foundation, if you want to be technical.
I don't know. I mean, Brett's got the Legends contract going on. Jim, at least based on an interview that he did in Miami, looks like he's got some more personal issues going on, so I don't think they're necessarily bringing him in. Natalie, they've got her, or Natty Neidhart, they've got her doing the whole thing with the Total Divas show. Right. So I think it's more that they're just kind of spread out and split into different areas that they can't really be brought in. but they kind of had something on their hands when Cody needed a little bit of time off to go, get married.
Right.
And they decided, all right, well, Goldust, he's, keeping his nose clean. Let's bring him in. And we got Dusty in the Legends contract, so everything just kind of came together. I don't think it's so much a spiteful ignoring of the Hart family so much as they have other stuff going on.
And Lucas, the next time that guy tries to bust your chops about wrestling, just say these three things. Wrestling is Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, and Ric Flair, and tell him to shut up.
Thank you very
That's
much,
all
sir.
you got to do.
Dominic DeNucci.
Oh, well, I forgot about him.
Okay.
Those are what's known as the Father,
DeNucci,
Son, and Holy Ghost of wrestling.
I like him.
Hulk and Flair. As long as you know their history, you don't need to know anything else.
Yeah, at
That's
that point,
it.
house shows are obscure.
Well, no, just remember, and ask, the last time that guy calls you, ask him who's Ric Flair, who did he beat on his last title run, and tell him you'll give him a clue. The guy he beat was a blonde, too.
Well, see, now he's got time to look it up. That's
Hey, maybe, you don't know. I think he just comes to bust that kid's chops for no reason.
I think you may not be too far off with that,
You know
Steve.
what? I like you, Steve. Thank you very much for giving me that advice.
Just if you know the history of the three greatest wrestlers of all time who made the most money for the business, you don't need to know nothing else. Have a good day, guys.
All right, thanks so much for the call, Steve. There we go, a little positive light.
Did he say Andre the Giant?
He did not say Andre.
I think he made the most money for the longest time. Seriously.
It doesn't matter.
I'm
I know you're in devil's advocate mode.
Well,
today.
no, not necessarily devil's advocate. Just there was a truth to that. Because
Now I've got the
I think
whole-
at one point, Andre the Giant, I think, was in the Guinness Book of World Records for the highest paid wrestler.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
that
this
was a measly $250,000 a year then. A measly.
Yeah, just to inflation.
They kept him on tour. Is what they
Hey,
did.
Walt, here's a little fun fact
He's
for you
gone.
about Andre the
Walt
Giant.
is gone.
Whatever.
Well, go ahead.
I don't care.
All right.
So there's this thing. I was watching Legends of Wrestling. I don't know if I already said this, but Andre the Giant apparently, he hated getting on flights. He hated getting on long flights because he was always like the biggest guy there. He didn't want to.
Yeah, sit on the floor.
Yeah, he was a really big guy. So they said something about. Pat Patterson gives a story that before Andre the Giant went on every flight, the night before, he would literally give himself an enema.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I know. Because he was a big guy. Imagine.
This show just took a very dark turn.
No, it's just like he would always get up and he'd have to, because that guy's size, you don't ever want to go up and waddle your way back to the bathroom because you'd be bumping into people no matter what.
Bumping your head on the ceiling of the plane too.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some news and notes and no pun intended, dump out of this. All right, John Cena mentioned earlier discussing his early return from surgery. He spoke with WWE website Zach Linder regarding his earlier than expected return to the ring. Cena on his rehabilitation, quote, I get to work right away. I just literally follow the rules. I go to physical therapy like I should. It becomes my job. When my job isn't performing in a WWE ring, my job is to get back performing in that ring. When I'm hurt, all I have to do all day is get strong and get better. I'm a very dedicated physical therapy patient, and that helps a lot. He was asked whether there's anything special about his body and recovery abilities, and he said, please don't spread the rumor that I'm some kind of real-life X-Man or something like that. The reason that surgeons give those timetables is because they obviously want to err on the side of caution. They don't want the operation going badly. They basically take all the operations they've done and come up with a medium time frame to recover. That's why it was 4 to 6 months, end quote, as opposed to the 2 months that he's now coming back following the surgery only a day or two after SummerSlam. All right, I guess we better get into this now. Dixie Carter T-shirt. Yes, if you go to shoptna.com, and you'll probably be one of a few, TNA has released their first shirt for owner Dixie Carter. It's a blue shirt with a circle in the chest reading Dixieland with red, white, and blue trim. You can check it out and even leave comments at shoptna.com. And I checked out the comments. Here's the few that I can say over the air. There's one that says, I'll buy a Jeremy Borash T-shirt before this. And then there's another that said, I have never been so glad to be too fat to wear a shirt.
And the rest were too obscene to read them.
Yeah, more F-bombs than a conversation between Ozzy Osbourne and the Iron Sheik. Yeah, ponder that one for a second.
How about more FUs than a conversation between Stone Cold Steve Austin and those two guys?
Leave the analogies to me, all right?
Come on. You know what? Fine. Okay, fine.
You got a little work on it, that's all. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
It's true. Also, The Rock, he commits to a new disaster movie filming in early 2014. That's right. Dwayne The Rock Johnson will star in the New Line 3D disaster film San Andreas. His character will attempt to make a journey across earthquake-ravaged California to rescue his estranged daughter.
Does that mean CJ and Ryder and Big Smoke and all of them from Grand Theft Auto are going to be in it too? You give it San Andreas, there's a bunch of stoners that are going to be like, oh my god, it's Grand Theft Auto. The Rock's going to be CJ.
Yeah, not so much.
You realize that, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing with it. Because it's filming in early 2014, or it's supposed to go into production in the first quarter of next year, let the speculation begin as to whether The Rock will be available for WrestleMania 30.
That's the problem. Yeah, that is, because they were saying it was supposed to be like Brock Lesnar and The Rock for WrestleMania 30.
But I mean, The Rock at that point, he had torn quite a few muscles in the midsection, and it's hard to say how he was feeling.
You know what I think they should do? Let's say John Cena does win it at the World Heavyweight Championship this next Sunday.
At Hell in a Cell, yeah.
Let's just say that happens. Set it up for Brock Lesnar versus John Cena for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 30. That would be a pretty good Mania match. I mean,
I'll get back to you on it. I need to think about it. My immediate reaction is, I don't know, but I need to stew on it a little bit.
Just have like a little montage of Fearon walking along a river with Kansas dust in the wind. Should John Cena face Brock Lesnar?
That's actually pretty much the scenario. Yeah. All right, other news here. Former ROH champion announcing retirement. Former Ring of Honor champion Low Ki, a.k.a. Brandon Silvestri, announced his retirement from pro wrestling this past Monday. Due to All Japan not honoring their contractual obligations of medical care after being injured in All Japan Pro Wrestling, I am retiring from professional wrestling, says Low Ki. He also worked as Caval briefly in the WWE and was a standout in TNA's X Division. Low Ki retiring at the ripe young age of 34, which means I've only got a couple of years to go if I want to follow that same track.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, that's not happening. And finally, this is rather...
That should be a drop. Okay, that should be a drop.
This is rather noteworthy. I'll decide what the drops are and aren't around here.
All right.
Extreme Rising announces return with new management and a TV deal. Extreme Rising Pro Wrestling, it returns to live action Saturday, December 28th of this year with their debut at the Arena. Ed from the Northeast was talking a little bit about it earlier. The infamous corners of Swanson and Rittner in South Philadelphia, the former ECW Arena. Doors opening at 6 p.m., bell time at 7. Tickets will go on sale this Friday, the 25th.
Was that originally New Moon Rising, or is this like...
Now, this is... it was initially created by Shane Douglas, and it brought back a lot of the ECW stars, but also some new guys as well. It tried to recapture the heart that was ECW.
Yeah, because you said a couple of weeks ago that New Moon Rising was sort of going off the grid for a little, and so I thought,
And yeah, unfortunately they still are, so the show that they were supposed to have tonight is not going to happen. Yeah. A little disheartened by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It sucks. What can you do?
No, it doesn't suck. I was just saying it.
Well, yeah, it does. I wanted to go see the show tonight.
I mean, no, yeah, it does suck, but I'm saying, like, it's not like, it's not an oh, yeah, like, oh, yeah. It's more like an, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Like,
I'll ponder that once we sign off the air here.
Another drop.
Trying to make sense of it.
We've got Drop-A-Mania right now.
Yes, we do. There will be more information, talent confirmations, and matches to be announced soon. Extreme Rising Pro Wrestling has inked a deal with a local television station to premiere their weekly broadcast TV show beginning January 1st, 2014, into Philadelphia, Bucks County, South Jersey, to the shores, and northern Delaware. Full details on the show forthcoming. Extreme Rising undergoing earlier this month behind-the-scenes changes and reorganization that will improve and enhance the development and advancement of the wrestling promotion. Steve O'Neill will now officially head all aspects of the promotion. There will be more news and information released on the Extreme Rising live event Saturday, December 28th, and the TV show that premieres January 1st in the coming days and weeks. Stay up to date on the official Facebook page, facebook.com/Extreme Rising, and Twitter at twitter.com/Extreme Rising. Good to see that they're getting things together. I might have to pencil myself in for that show on the 28th. That means I'll have to get tickets this Friday.
I've got one. I've got a little thing.
Make it quick. We've only got about 10 seconds.
All right. I feel like there should be a couple new slogans to the show. Pro Wrestling Weekly, more mic drops and Mr. Kennedy's ring entrance.
Oh, dear. On that note, we're a bit late, folks. Good night. We'll see you next week.
1490 WBCB, Levittown, Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania.